All right, guys, so we're here at the doTERRA lab, and this is where we test all of our oils to make sure that the chemistry is optimal and there are no contaminants. Now, we run this several different times along the manufacturing process, just to be sure. You can never be too sure. But that, my friends, is the certified pure therapeutic grade difference, also known as CPTG. Now, speaking of C, I see Cecile here, and she's somebody who understands this a lot more than me. We're grateful to have you, Cecile. Ça va bien?
Très bien, et toi? How are you?
I'm very good. But talk to us, my friend. What do you have for us today?
Today I would like to show you the labs. We have 3 different labs, and I'd like to start with the chemistry lab. It's where we test for the natural composition of the oils and also potential contamination. Would you like to go and see it?
I'd love to. Let's go.
Let's go.
Dakota,
Hey,
how's it going?
fantastic.
All right, so Cecile told me that you would take care of us as far as understanding physical testing and what that means.
Totally.
Can you enlighten us?
Definitely. So every oil that comes through the chemistry lab first has to undergo a series of physical tests. So we'll look at things like appearance, color, aroma, very basic physical properties to make sure that the essential oil is pure. After these tests, we will take them through a series of instruments that will give us a next level of understanding, again to evaluate their purity so that we can catch anything before it goes on to the next step.
And the next step is GCMS.
Exactly.
So all of this is happening way before GCMS.
It is.
I gotta check this out. All right, guys, so we just got done with physical testing. Now we're on to the next phase, which is GCMS. We have Beatrice here. She's our expertise. Really simply, what is GCMS?
GCMS is a test that we do that tells us the content of the oil specifically. What it does is we will put the oil into the GCMS and it runs through this column that is really long and really, really thin. And it helps us separate the oil into individual compounds that will show us as it detects it here in a mass spec, what it looks like. And all these peaks will tell us what it is as we compare them to a standard library that we have of known spectra. And then we'll have a report that will come out called the chromatograph.
Okay, so we basically break down each oil into its individual components,
Yeah.
and then we're able to compare that to a validated database where we understand the exact benchmark we're looking for.
Exactly.
Here's a question for you. What if we know or we see that an oil doesn't meet that benchmark?
If that happens, then we'll have an investigation open, and then our quality assurance department will start to review the whole process. But we also have a lot of different tests that we do that would help us solidify, and we can go check that out actually.
Let's go.
So right here we have the ICP-MS. And the GCMS is nice, it gives us what we want to know in an oil, whereas the ICP-MS shows us what we don't want in an oil, like harmful substances like lead or mercury, things like that. So our sample will get dissolved in very concentrated acid. It dissolves it, and so it's easy for us to run through the plasma beam, and it will then separate and get detected on the detector. And then we will see the concentration of each of these elements.
Okay. So what I understand is GCMS alone is not enough. So by implementing this technology, we're able to ensure quality and safety even more.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I've learned a lot, but I'm gonna go find Cecile because I think there's still a lot more we need to get into. Thank you. All right.
Hi Simone, how is it?
It was good. I'm not gonna lie, there were a lot of details, but I pretty much got it all down.
Awesome. I'd like to show you more. We have the EM lab here. EM is for environmental monitoring. We test the water, we test the air, and also the surfaces, just to make sure everything is clean in the manufacturing process.
Robert, how's it going, my man?
All right, how are you?
Good, I'm good. So I was just with Cecile, and she mentioned that we test water, surface levels, and air samples? I gotta be honest with you, I don't fully understand why we're testing water.
Well, the water doesn't go into our products, but it does touch our equipment surfaces during the cleaning process. So we want to make sure that we're not like getting any contamination into our product, because they are product contact surfaces.
Gotcha.
So product will come in contact with those surfaces. So we want to make sure that they're clean and good to go.
Makes sense, makes sense. And I imagine that's the same with the surface level test that we run?
Yes, we do a swab sampling technique where the surfaces are swabbed, put into a neutralizing broth, and we will test this broth for the various tests we want to run on it.
Very consistent as well with all these tests.
Correct.
Awesome. Air samples.
Air samples, yes. The air samples we collect using these dual head air samplers, and we just want to make sure that the air in the manufacturing environment is good to go. So it kind of covers all of our bases.
Makes sense to me. So, in addition to all the other tests that we do, this is just an additional safeguard that we put into place.
Correct.
We check water, we check surface levels, we check air samples. I'm gonna check you out later, but thank you so much, Robert.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Have a good day.
Okay, so I knew there were a lot of steps to this. I didn't know there were that many steps, but we're going for quality, so I'm all for it.
Yes, well, I have one more stop for you. Here we have the microlab. That's where we test the products at the beginning of the manufacturing and at the end. So we test for potential contamination with bacteria, yeast, and fungi. And Pretty Banana is going to show you around.
Awesome. Merci. Pretty, how's it going? I'm good. So Cecile explained that this is one of the final steps before the product ends up in our hands. So that's a pretty important step. Can you explain to us kind of a breakdown of what happens before we receive the product?
So this is the microbiology lab, and we test for the microbial contamination if it's to happen. So for example, over here you can see Brady is sampling all those samples to test for the microbial contamination. And this is a product, bergamot mint oil, which is going to be tested against bacterial and eastern mold and staph, pseudomonas, E. coli, and salmonella test.
Wow. So that's a lot of testing. I mean, we're running tests way before, right? But this is just another safeguard that we put into place to ensure that there's absolutely no contamination.
Exactly.
Awesome. So I see you have an example.
Yes. So this is to show our viewer that if there's nothing on the plate, that means like no grow, like you cannot see anything, right? But if there is some microbial contamination, and you can see a plate look like this. So this is our positive control, and this is our negative control.
Well, I know you got a lot of work to do, and you look very busy. So I'm gonna leave you to that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for what you do, and we'll see you later. All right, Cecile, so we understand there's a lot of work to be done. We're gonna end this right here, but thank you so much for the behind the scenes look. That's incredible to see the amount of work and steps that are being put forth just to ensure quality.
Absolutely, you're so welcome. I was very happy to show you. It's true, we have a great team of scientists here that make sure our oils are pure, are free of contamination.
For sure, for sure. And so I know I speak on behalf of everybody watching from home. Thank you guys for everything that you guys do.
Thank you, Simon. It
All
was
right.
a pleasure.
We'll see you.
Bye.
I trust doTERRA oils because before doTERRA, I was like many people using oils that were at the store.
I didn't really realize that there was no standard in the essential oil industry. I kind of thought, well, if it says it's 100% pure essential oil, then that must be what it is.
The fact that they have a third party test all of their oils and that you can go in and look that up is really reassuring to us to know that what we're putting in our body is exactly what we think it is. And knowing that they do that, like, I'm not worried about using essential oils through doTERRA.
So I trust the source. CPTG, certified pure therapeutic grade, we are guaranteed pure and potent oils.
When I started doing some digging and doing my research around doTERRA, I started to realize that their standards, their purity, their transparency around exactly what's in the bottle and who farmed it and all of those details that were really transparent about, and that was really reassuring to me.
I wanted to know what these bottles could do for my son, for my family. And ultimately, it became something that not only I helped my family with, but I've helped other families with.
I'm a believer. I have to believe in something. You don't sell me something. I have to believe in something. And so when I saw her belief in that and how she started to utilize it with her patients, well, then that's when I started to come around myself and start to learn more and more and start to integrate it personally within my practice.
I feel safe, I feel empowered, I just know that what I'm giving my children is wonderful.
Whether you're a weekend warrior or whether you're a professional athlete, these products and oils will actually do wonders for the body. I don't know where I would be without these essential oils and products.
I went to where doTERRA sources peppermint and Roman chamomile. It was two brothers. One brother was distilling and one was out in the farms. And I specifically asked them why they only worked with doTERRA, and they said because they treat us like family.
I trust that everyone has been treated well along the supply chain. I trust that everyone has been paid fairly. And that for me is extremely important, the way that we source our oils.
And so my heart every day is grateful for doTERRA, what it's done for our family and my health, and what they're doing also around the world to change lives of the growers, bringing them to us. It's pretty phenomenal.